Hi guys, it's Alma from Keeping It Natural, and in this video I'll be talking about how to grow healthy natural hair, and I'll give 12 general tips on how to do that. The first tip is to moisturize, and this is extremely important. Moisture is the #1 key into growing your hair. So the common method that naturals use to moisturize is the LOC method, which stands for liquid, oil, and cream. So a liquid would be water, anything that is water-based. Your hair loves water. So you can find a product that has water in it, or just use water by itself. The second thing is to seal that moisture in with an oil. So it could be coconut oil or olive oil or avocado oil. There's so many types of oils that naturals use out there, so just find one that works for you. The third thing is to use a cream or a butter, so like shea butter and avocado butter, to also seal in that moisture. So you need to moisturize your hair with a liquid and then seal in that moisture with an oil or butter. Because if you don't seal it in, then the moisture will eventually evaporate and your hair will get dry quicker. The next tip is to wash your hair with a sulfate-free shampoo. Now, shampoos that contain sulfates are drying to our hair, and African hair is naturally dry. So you need to find a moisturizing shampoo or a clarifying shampoo, or you could do a co-wash. A co-wash is when you use a conditioner to act as your shampoo, so your hair doesn't dry out. And I suggest that you do this because it's really important that you don't dry out your hair when you wash it. The third tip is to wash your hair in sections. Well, this is completely up to you. And if your hair shrinks a lot when it's wet, then I suggest that you wash your hair in sections. Or if you can handle washing your hair without washing in sections, then that's completely fine. But it's a lot easier to wash your hair in sections. The fourth tip is to deep condition your hair. And this is extremely important because this goes hand in hand with moisturizing your hair. Because to deep condition your hair is to essentially put the moisture back into your hair. Now, some naturals, they deep condition their hair between 20 to 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, or even overnight. It all depends on you and your hair and how your hair responds and how much moisture your hair needs. So you can find a deep conditioner in the shops, or you can even make your own. There's lots of recipes out there that you can find to make your own deep conditioner. But I cannot express how important deep conditioning is. Not a wash day goes by when I don't deep condition my hair. As a natural, it is essential that you deep condition your hair. It's not an option. You have to deep condition your hair if you want your hair to be soft and to grow and to retain length. The next tip is to do a protein treatment. And this is also important because your hair is essentially made out of protein, a protein called keratin. So you need protein to strengthen your hair so it won't break. So I suggest that you do a protein treatment every 4 to 6 weeks. No less than every 4 weeks, because if you do a protein treatment often, your hair will become hard and will break, and that's what you don't want. You don't want your hair to break and become hard. You want it to be soft and moisturized. But doing a protein treatment is extremely important. The next tip is to sleep with a satin scarf, bonnet, or sleep with a satin pillowcase. Now, pillowcases are made of cotton most of the time, and cotton is extremely drying to natural hair. It sucks all the moisture from our hair, so if you sleep on it, then you've just moisturized your hair. The next day your hair will be dry, and you don't want that at all. So a lot of naturals sleep with a satin scarf, pillowcase, or on a satin pillow. So I highly recommend you get one of the three. The next step is to trim your hair, because hair does get damaged no matter how much care you give it. So this is important because your hair does get knots and it does split. So if you leave those ends to get more knots and to split even further up the strand of your hair, then you will have to do a bigger trim or even a cut because you waited too long to trim those ends. So rather trim your hair when it needs to be trimmed. So a lot of naturals, they trim their hair like every 3 to 6 months, every year, or when they feel like their hair needs a trim. And when you need a trim, you will know, you will feel it. When detangling becomes a nightmare, you'll be able to tell that you have so many knots that you need to get rid of, so a trim is necessary at that point in time. The 8th tip is to use low to no heat. And this is important because heat does damage your hair. And the more heat you put on your hair, the more damage you will get. And the more damage you get, the more often you will have to trim. So if you want to stretch your hairs, there are various ways to stretch your hair, but you don't have to stretch your hair with heat. If your hair can handle heat once a week, then use heat once a week. If your hair can handle heat once a month, then use heat once a month. But a lot of naturals, they use heat on their hair like very few times a year. 3 to 2 times a year, or they go even years without using heat on their hair. And that is very possible because I haven't used heat on my hair for about a year now. So it is achievable to not use heat on your hair. And you will retain more length if you don't use heat on your hair. The 9th tip is to use protected styling on your hair. And this is extremely important when you want to retain length on your hair to grow your hair. and this will also help you not to use heat on your hair. So a protected style is self-explanatory, a style to protect your hair. So this can be braids or weaves or crochet braids, anything that will keep your hands out of your hair. Because the more your hands are in your hair, the more damage and manipulation you'll do, and you don't want to do that. So try not to manipulate your hair every single day, like comb it and style it every day. Try style it like once a week, or comb it once a week, or put a protective style in like braids, and that will protect your hair for about 2 to 3 months. And that is extremely beneficial, especially if you have type 4 hair. So a lot of people that have type 4 hair, they do protective styling because it helps them retain length when they want to grow their hair. So if you have type 4 hair like me, I highly suggest that you do protective styling. And when you do protective styling, it is important that you take care of your natural hair whilst it's under a protected style. So you still need to moisturize your hair, you still need to wash your hair. Now a lot of people, when they have a protective style in like braids, they don't like to wash their hair because they want to keep it in as long as possible and keep it neat. But this is counterproductive, because when you don't wash your hair gets built up in a lot of dirt, and that clogs the pores in your head, and it's counterproductive when you want to grow your hair. So you do have to wash your hair like every 2 to 3 weeks. And also, when your hair is in a protective style, it is important that you don't do tight styles, because that can break your hair and you can lose hair, and that's what you don't want. So a protective style can work against you if you're trying to grow your hair, especially if it's a tight style. So try keep your braids or your weaves loose, but still like tight enough so that it doesn't come undone. But if you do a really tight style, you will get breakage, and that will work against you if you're trying to grow your hair. The next step is to detangle your hair carefully, and this is extremely important if you want to retain length. So this does take hours. It takes a lot of naturals hours to detangle their hair. So when you detangle your hair, put a lot of conditioner and oil in your hair, so your hair has a lot of slip and it's easier to work with, because if you work on dry hair, your hair will break. So you need slip on your hair to detangle it. And also finger detangle your hair. This is extremely important, because with your fingers you can feel all the knots and all the dirt, and you can take those knots apart. Because if you put a comb through your hair will just rip through all those knots and it will break your hair. But if you do want to use a comb, use a wide tooth comb, not a rat tail comb or a comb with lots of bristles, because that will break your hair. But I highly suggest that you finger detangle your hair and then use a wide tooth comb afterwards, just to make sure all the shed hair has come out of your hair when you've detangled your hair. The next tip is to research. And this is important because a lot of us naturals are having to relearn our hair, because what we've been taught from young is wrong and it's false, and it's not helping us to grow our hair. So I made the mistake of researching when I first wanted to go natural, but then I stopped as soon as I did go natural. I started transitioning, and from that I got major damage because I didn't know what I was doing with my hair. And to this day, I still have that damage from the first time I went natural, even though my hair is a lot more healthier and stronger and longer, but I still have damage because I didn't do my research properly. So there's lots of information on the internet, and just do your research, because I constantly research, like every day. Like I've been natural for about 2.5 years, 2 years, and I still research to this day. So it is important that you do research. The final tip is to know and to love your natural hair. Now, a lot of people, they don't love their natural hair because of the type of texture they have. They see people with type 3 hair who have that loose, curly texture, and they want that hair, and they think that they can't achieve a certain style because of the type of hair they have. But you actually can. Like, all textures are beautiful, and I absolutely love my natural hair, and I have like the kinkiest of textures. So just love and know your natural hair and know what works for it. Like, take people's advice, but if you know it won't work for your hair, then don't do it. Or if you try it out and it doesn't work for your hair, don't keep on doing it because it works for somebody else. Do what works for your own hair. So just love and know your hair. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. I hope this really helped you guys and how to take care of your natural hair. Just leave a comment below if it was beneficial. Or if you want me to answer any questions, I will answer them in the comments. The comments below. So yeah, thanks for listening. So please like this video if you did like it, and subscribe for more videos on natural hair and to follow my natural hair journey.